Hey gamers, we're back with another episode of Let's Create a Competitive Card Game. In this episode, we'll be taking a look at the next concept for Relic 13. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so last episode we took a look at the second concept for Relic 13, and the artist just sent over the next concept. So what we'll do first is I'll go over the effect and the art description first, then we'll go ahead and hop over to Photoshop and look at the new concept. So the effect for Relic 13 was that it provided one floating skill point on your turn, and floating skill points was just a way to get temporary resources on your turn, and they could only be used for costs which do not reserve ability points, so either your skill or talent points. Now, the description which I gave the artist was I told her that it should be a regal looking bracelet with a golden glow, and I also mentioned that maybe it should be sitting in a field with people training. So what I'll do now is I'll go ahead and hop over to Photoshop and we'll take a look at the first and second concepts and then take a look at the new third concept. So let's go ahead and hop over there. Alright, so this is the initial concepts for Relic 13, and just to go over this briefly as to what I liked and did not like. So the second image is the one that I ended up telling the artist to proceed with. Now, I really did not like the first one too much, as this looked more like a ring than a bracelet. And for number 3, yeah, it's a bracelet here, but this really did not say training to me. And really, number 2 was the one which also had the person sitting in the field, what looks like training going on in the background. So something I mentioned was that it looked like this guy here was maybe holding the shield and this person here was maybe hitting it. And I also mentioned that I didn't know if this was a male or female, as usually the artist will put the sign for male or female. Now, something I didn't realize until looking at the second concept for a little bit was that this doesn't really seem like a bracelet. It's really way too big with respect to the proportions of the person here. So this looks like maybe it's a tiara or something, but I never mentioned that to the artist. So yeah, so now we'll go ahead and take a look at the second concept for Relic 13. So yeah, this was the second concept, and again, this really did look a lot like the first concept, just with some color, and yeah, there's a little bit more, well yeah, there's a lot more detail actually added here. Now, some things I did not like about this concept was these are supposed to be warriors training, and this character is a little bit, I don't want to be mean, but too big to be a warrior. It doesn't look like this character is in pretty good shape. Now, again, this does look like a tier with the size of it, but that should be okay for now. So what was I looking for in the third concept for this, or the finished concept? Now, I was looking for a little bit more detail with the blades of grass. Also, maybe filling in this backdrop somewhere, as it seems like the intention is to have maybe some trees or bushes here. And also a little bit more detail on the people here training. Now, something else to mention is for relic cards, what I told the artist is that a relic will usually be some type of item, or maybe sometimes something else, like maybe a person to be a relic. But either way, the relic should be the focal point of the image. So when you look at the image, the first thing your eyes should go to is the exact relic. Now, it's interesting to see how the artist will kind of do that. And what I'm thinking is the artist is going to blur out the background so that the actual item can be the focus. So I'll go ahead and hop over to the new concept. and I have looked at it briefly before starting this recording. So yeah, let's go ahead and hop over to it now. Alright, so I'm sure you guys probably already know that I like this a lot more than the second concept, as the detail is filled in and this character, I guess, proportions have been fixed. Now, this honestly does look more like a bracelet now, as the zoom, it looks like it's zoomed in on this or focused on this, so it does look a little bit bigger, but with respect to the proportions, I can see this going on maybe her wrist or something. Now, yeah, the artist added a lot more detail here. You see the background is filled in with trees, and the people here training, looks like this guy now has a shield, and yeah, it looks like training is going on. And yeah, this person just happens to be looking at the bracelet. In the initial, or actually in the second concept, I don't believe she was looking at the bracelet. Now, this is not the final version of this relic, and again, I will not be revealing the final version. So there will be one more version. I did tell the artist to go ahead and proceed with the final version, and what I expect is more detail in this bracelet, maybe a little bit more detail in the grass, and a little bit more detail in the people here and in this woman here, as I don't expect too much detail in these people, as the focus point is the bracelet. So it is okay if there's sort of a blurred background, however, more detailed than this here is needed. So what I'll do now is I'll go ahead and put the three concepts side by side just so that we can see the progression. Alright, so here are the three concepts side by side, and yeah, you can definitely see the progression here. So first, all of these concepts, at least the second and third, they definitely resemble the initial concept, and that's really something that I do like about this artist. I have mentioned that it's hard for me to picture what images will look like. However, this artist does make it really easy, as all I really have to do is kind of picture the image with coloring in it and some details. Now, I don't know exactly how the artist is going to color or what additional detail she'll add to the picture, but when I always see the concepts, they do resemble the first one. So yeah, from the initial concept to the second concept, you can see the artist really kind of zoomed in and added some detail in here. Now, she added in these trees here and kind of zoomed in on this, sort of changed the position of the character here, and even here, well, I'd say I did think this was a female, but it could have still been a male. Now, from the second to the third concept, yeah, there is definitely a lot more detail added. The artist did once again change the position of the female here, as the arm is back here now. Initially, it looks like her legs were maybe crossed and her arm was on it. And then here, she kind of didn't cross the legs, put the arm out in front. And here, she kind of leaned it to the back. Now, she also did change the shoulder armor here. It looks a lot better here, and she did add more hair to the female, and she changed it so that the female is actually looking at this bracelet. Now, there's not a golden glow, but you can see the light is kind of hitting it here. And yeah, overall, I do like all of these images, and I really cannot wait to see what the final version of Relic 13 will look like. So yeah, that will be all for this episode, and in the next episode, hopefully we can take a look at Relic 14. So yeah, if you like these episodes, be sure to like, subscribe, and all of the other good stuff. Thanks.